I'm Callie Lewis. You're watching Geek Brief TV. This is Brief 362. Last week, Peter Gutierrez posted a link to a podcast tour of CNN's Election Express bus. It's very, very cool in a lot of ways. They're using a 45-foot Prevost motor coach. They have it set up to convert the newsroom into a video studio. It was very neat to see that they picked the very same lights that we'll be using in the mobile Geek Brief studio. They're 1x1 light panels. Leo Laporte is also using them for Twit Live. They use very little energy, last forever, and they don't put off heat when they're on. Based on what we know about buses and production equipment, the CNN setup would cost between $2 and $5 million. Now, for the past 3 months, we've been working on taking Geek Brief mobile in very much the same way as CNN. Our perhaps overly ambitious goal is to achieve the same technical quality that CNN can for a very small fraction of the cost. Traditional media has the money and the muscle to buy quality. Open source media like Geek Brief has to take a more MacGyver-like approach. We're going to be tying together things with shoestrings, but we're going to get it done, and I want to give you an update on our progress. Right now we have 3 bus candidates. One is in Nashville, and it's inexpensive but also very unfinished. Jeff Smith took his video camera to get some footage. It's a 1985 Eagle. The man who was converting it from a passenger bus passed away about halfway through. It has a rebuilt engine and a new generator, but for the most part we would be building out the studio and the living area space from scratch. I like that because we're minimalist and we'd be able to keep it simple. The downside is that it would take a lot of work. It's work we'd have to learn to do, and it could take a year or more to complete. On Monday, we looked at a 1995 Van Hool. The price keeps getting reduced because it's been on the market for almost a year. The Van Hool wouldn't require any work to make it livable. Pretty much, we would just want to cover up the bling of mirrors and brass. The Van Hool has 3 major issues, though. The first is that it's been converted to park and plug in a fully equipped campground. It has 2, count them, 2 residential air conditioning units and a double-door residential refrigerator. The other issue is that there's a single tank for wastewater. I won't get into it because it's kind of gross, but normally you'd have 2. The third issue is that the seller doesn't know the exact mileage because the speedometer didn't work when it was acquired. Bus number 3 is a 1998 Prevost with 62,000 miles on it. It's in excellent condition and it would be the safest, most reliable choice we could make, but it would cost as much as a small house. We'll be flying up to Wisconsin to take a look in a couple of weeks. I hope. Here's what's really cool, and it's the reason I'm taking up a whole brief to give you guys this update. I think of what we do as open source tech news and taking the brief mobile for a couple or more years as an open source project that viewers all over the world are participating in. We're putting all the money we've saved up to buy a house into the project. We've got people buying pixel ads on paidbypixels.com. Mevio is being supportive, Ustream is helping, and there are several companies that are going to be supporting the project that I can't talk about yet. We also have viewers with expertise that will help us geek out the bus with alternative energy sources and mobile internet connectivity fast enough that we can stream live, at least when we're parked. My goal for this project is to demonstrate what open source media can accomplish, and here's the big question. Can we put together a mobile news studio that is as cool or cooler than CNN's for a very, very small fraction of what they paid? I believe the answer is yes. Beck's Beer is sponsoring this episode of Geek Brief. If you're under 21, you are not allowed to drink. I don't really think I have to worry about that though, because the people under 21 who watch Geek Brief are smart enough to know that they shouldn't drink, and they know that Beck's Beer isn't trying to get them to drink. Beck's is supporting the show, and in return, they hope that some of you who are over 21 will take the opportunity to look at their website and consider their brand. If you're a writer who enjoys beer, Beck's is looking for someone to hire as their official blogger. You might even be able to relocate to Amsterdam. You can find out more information about the opportunity at becks.com. Doing everything I can to distract you from all the negativity on the regular news, I'm at Callie Lewis. Hey, I'm what?
You didn't power up?
Power.